Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Finding Kim here for another DIY. This DIY will be about this amazing makeup bag that I made, and I'm so proud of it. Oh my god, it came out so great. Feel like it's beginner friendly, but it's more so if you have a little bit of experience sewing. But I walk you through everything step by step, and this is how I made it simple for me. So please stay tuned and check it out. Alright guys, let's jump right in. So I'm going to go over the materials with you guys. This is interfacing. Interfacing, if you haven't worked with it before, basically kind of helps your fabric, makes it a little thicker, keeps it all together. And I have 4 pieces because I have a lighter interfacing, but you will want to buy, if you're going to DIY this, you'll want to buy the medium interfacing. For materials, you're also going to need a pattern fabric, a solid fabric, a zipper, and thread, of course. So here are all of the measurements. I am also going to have this down in the description box, so don't worry about writing it down. You can glance at it there. And this is basically what you'll need for this DIY. To save some time on the video, my fabric sheets are already cut out, so they're just rectangles of 10 by 7 each for the outside and the inside of the bag. Okay, here I am showing you guys how to iron on interfacing for your fabric. Basically, it's super simple. You just want to make sure that the rough side of it, it feels kind of bumpy. You'll make sure that is against the fabric because that's what holds everything together. And then you iron it on, and that is about it. That is what I'm going to do for all 4 pieces of my fabric. And like I said, I have 4 pieces because I have a sheer weight interfacing, which is kind of smaller than what I would need, but I did not want to buy more interfacing, so I used what I had on hand. Now here I'm finishing up ironing on all of the interfacing, and then we're going to move on. Stay tuned, guys. Okay, here we're going to grab our zipper and we're going to cut off the extra that is at the very top. I cut off all of it, and after I did that and I started realizing what I was doing, I realized I probably should have cut off maybe half of it. So I cut right at that stopper at the top of the zipper. I would suggest cutting a little bit above that. After you cut that off, you're going to grab that strip that is 1.5 inches by 4 inches. You're going to fold that hot dog style twice. So fold it in half, and then you can iron it, and then fold it in half again, and then you'll iron that part. Then you'll grab your zipper and you'll slide that fabric you just folded onto your zipper. Once you put that onto your zipper, flip it over and then sew it. The reason I say to sew it when the zipper is facing down is because I realized it was easier for my machine to sew it that way. After you sew the stitch across that fabric, then you'll cut off the excess and use it on the other end for the other part of your zipper as a stopper. And my footage did cut off, and I'm so sorry about that. I had no clue until it was too late. So you're going to repeat the step on the other side of the zipper. Cut the zipper an inch shorter than your bag, so it's going to be approximately 9 inches, and repeat that step I just showed you. Okay, so now you're going to get a piece of your printed fabric, and you're going to lay that the right side facing up, and then you're going to grab your finished zipper and make sure the zipper is in the middle, and you're going to put that zipper facing down on the fabric that is going to be on the outside. So just like I'm showing you here, facing down in the middle of the fabric, so you should have a 1/2 inch on each side of the zipper. And then you're going to lay your liner, the fabric that will line your bag, you're going to lay that with the good side, or the actual side you want shown, facing down. So both of the fabrics both of the sides of the fabric that should be shown are facing one another and on the bad sides are facing outward. So the trick to make sure your zipper is lined up correctly is to make sure you see all 3 fabrics. When you start sewing, make sure you backstitch when you start and when you finish, just to make sure that the fabrics are secure and everything is together. So here I am keeping tabs on where the zipper is because I don't have a zipper foot. So once I get to where the zipper is, I sew up until that point. I leave the needle in all of the fabrics. I raise the foot and then I move the zipper out of my way. So I'll move it behind the foot and then I'll continue sewing. But this is how I get around not having a zipper foot, because it can be really hard to I can't talk. It can be really hard to sew a straight line if you don't have a zipper foot, and I'm not buying one, so this works for me. Here I realized that I couldn't get my zipper behind my foot, so I just zipped it down a little bit more so I can sew further down, and then I'm going to move the zipper back as I was trying to do in the beginning, but I couldn't, for some reason I just couldn't get it around it. And I wanted to show you guys that here so you can have an alternative just in case you can't get your zipper behind your foot. Just zip it down a little bit and sew, and then once you get the zipper behind it, start sewing again, but make sure your fabrics are still lined up right. And that's what I'm showing you here. I'm just showing you that I'm going back and checking before I just push my foot back down, because you don't want to start sewing and your fabrics aren't even lined up right. But I hope that helps you in the future if you're ever sewing and you want to sew a zipper but don't have a zipper foot. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys how to place the other fabrics. So it'll be the same thing. Your pattern side will be facing up, the zipper in the middle, zip to the middle, and then the zipper in the middle of the fabrics, and your liner fabric, the bad side, will be facing up. So you're sandwiching the stuff that you already sewed in between the fabrics that you're about to sew. So it's basically the same thing. Just make sure you line your fabrics up right, because you don't want to sew it and then you realize it's on the wrong side. So that's what I'm making sure I'm doing here. Pattern side up, zipper upside down, liner fabric is good side down. So the good sides are touching and the bad sides are on the outside. That's usually how I remember. Okay, now that we have the fabrics together, this next step is definitely optional. So I sewed a seam down to keep the seam that I sewed on the inside, to keep that from puffing up. You can either sew a straight line just like I did, or you can iron it down just to keep the seam from popping up and the fabrics from basically kind of not laying down flat, because that's really what I was going for. I wanted to make sure each side was laying down flat. The zipper did not get in the way. I just held the fabric down and I sewed a straight line. It was nothing like major or anything like that. I did that on both sides, and that made the pattern, that made the fabric flat. and I didn't have any problems doing it. It's not difficult at all. So either iron it or sew it. It's up to you which one you want to do. And here I'm sewing straight down the side, just like I told you guys, just like I just did on the other side. I'm just doing it on this side here. And throughout this process, I am going back and cutting my threads. I don't want to wait until the last minute and then I have threads shooting out of everywhere. So take time every now and then to cut the thread from around the bag so you won't have to deal with it at the very end. Now it's time to finish this baby up. So make sure your zipper is zipped to the middle, because if it's zipped to the end, you're gonna have a really hard time turning your bag inside out. So make sure your zipper is zipped to the middle and line up all of your sides of the bag. We're going to sew all of the fabric together. So make sure you start with the back stitch, and then it should be a continuous line around the entire bag. And I'm going to show you guys how to make it a continuous line. Every now and then I went back and I checked to make sure my fabric was lined up and that I had everything together, to make sure that my lines, to make sure that my thread was picking up everything and I didn't have anything messed up. So be sure to keep an eye on that. So here you leave the thread, you leave the needle inside of your fabrics, you lift your foot, rotate your fabric, drop your foot back down, and start sewing again. So that's how you keep the line continuous. Just make sure you're checking that fabric and making sure all 4 of the fabric pieces are lined up together. Okay, so my camera cut off. Of course it did, it always does. But I'm showing you guys that I stitched all the way around. Make sure you back stitch in the beginning and the end. I also cut off some excess fabric, any threads that were hanging. I did stitch around my bag again, and you'll see me doing it here. I stitched around my bag again just to make sure everything was secure. I didn't want it to be I didn't want to sew it just one time. I kind of wanted to go over it again just to make sure everything was together. And you can do that, or you can sew it one time, whatever you want to do. And that's basically what I did to finish my bag. Now it is time for the best part, which is taking the bag from inside out to the right side out. So this is the conclusion of this DIY. This is something that I've been wanting to do because I wanted to teach myself something new. So I had so many trial and error things just to make sure I presented to you guys something that was easier and not super deep or like impossible to do. And I really hope you guys recreate this. If you do, let me know. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I know this video is longer than my videos normally are, but I wanted to include everything and I didn't want to leave anything out. And I wanted to do something really special because this bag is going to belong to one of you soon. So please stay tuned for the next video to see my 1K giveaway. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have an amazing week, an amazing day, an amazing month, year, all of that. Please come back for more videos. Subscribe, like, share. Love you.